Good morning, everyone. So, in the last class, we were discussing about the classification of amino acids. Okay. Now, as we all know, proteins are formed by a large number of amino acids by condensation reactions. Now, let us discuss how amino acids combine with each other to form proteins. Okay. Firstly, some amino acids react with each other to form peptide. Okay, and then these peptides leads to the formation of proteins. Okay, now peptide formation takes place by the condensation reaction. For example, if we take the simplest examples of amino acid, for example, we have glycine and alanine. Okay, so we take the example of these two. In this group, in this glycine, R group is H, and in aniline, the R group is CH3. Okay, so if we make a peptide with the help of these two, okay. So firstly, what are peptides? Peptides are the condensation product of two amino acids. Okay, when two amino acids join with each other or they react to form a new species. Okay, that is known as peptide with the elimination of water. Okay, so when NH2 group, okay, when NH2 group of one amino acid combine with the carboxylic acid group of or the carboxy group of the other amino acid leads to the formation of peptide. Okay, now how it happens? So if we talk about the structure of glycine is like this. This is the structure of glycine. C double bond OH. Okay, this is glycine. So when it react with alanine, that is NH2. Okay, I'm writing it like this: NH2. Okay, C CH3, and then we have C double bond of OH. Okay, now from here water will leave. This is alanine. Okay, and this is the peptide formation takes place. Okay, peptides are the amide groups. Okay, this is amide group, and this bond is known as peptide bond. Peptide bond. Okay, and how we name them. Okay, what is the name of this peptide? So the name is we can also write it by the first three letters of the two amino acids. Okay, but the name is we have to eliminate these three letters. Okay, these three words with YL. Okay, and the name is glycyl alanine. Okay, so the amino acid which is on the left side, we have to eliminate the third three letters, that is I and E, with we have to replace it by YL. Okay, three alphabets I and E with YL. Okay, and we can also do one more thing. We can also arrange them in such a way that इसको हम लेफ्ट वाली साइड लें एंड वी टेक ग्लाइसिन ऑन द राइट साइड. ओके, तो तब जो बनेगा दैट इज ALAGLY. Okay, and the name is alanine glycine. Okay, this will be the name. Okay, now one more thing. In each peptide bond, in each peptide, one amino group is free. On one side amino group is free, and on the other side one carboxylic group is free. Okay, so by convention, we have to arrange them in such a way that amino group, the free side of the free amino group is always on the left side. Okay, this is a sign, this is a convention. Okay, this is a convention that their free amino group is always on the left side, and the carboxylic group is always on the right side. We have to arrange them in such a way कि जो फ्री वाला ग्रुप है अमोनिया का अमीनो ग्रुप, वो राइट लेफ्ट वाली साइड आना चाहिए, एंड दिस होल ग्रुप इज नोन एज एन टर्मिनल. ओके, एन टर्मिनल रेजिड्यू. N-terminal residue. Okay, and this is known as C-terminal residue. C-terminal residue. Okay, so we can arrange a large number of amino acids in such a way. Okay, we can make a complete chain by taking some other amino acids also. For example, if I take valine also, okay, then there are three or more possibilities. ऐसे भी बन सकता है कि मैं ग्लाइसिन को पहले लूं, देन वेनिलिन, देन ALA. ओके, एक पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकती है कि वेलिनिन को फर्स्ट ले लिया जाए एंड देन ग्लाइसिन एंड देन एलानिन. एक पॉसिबिलिटी ये है कि ग्लाइसिन को ही अगेन फर्स्टली एलानिन एंड देन वेलिन. ओके, अगेन देयर आर 6 पॉसिबिलिटीज आई थिंक पॉसिबल. एंड देन ठीक है, नाउ 2 cases are left in which ALA is first, GLY and then vanillin, and then okay, so there are 6 possibilities if we have 3 amino acid groups. Okay, if we take 3 amino acid group, there are 6 possibilities, okay, for the formation. So in this way we can easily form peptides. Now what are polypeptides? So polypeptides, the main difference between polypeptides, oligopeptides, okay, oligo as we all know means a few, okay, in which the number of amino acids are less than 10, that are termed as oligopeptides. Okay, in which the number of amino acids are 10. Oligopeptides. Okay, so in which the number of amino acids are alpha amino acids we are talking about, in which alpha amino acids are less than 10. Okay, that are termed as oligopeptides. Now what are polypeptides? So in polypeptides the number of amino acids are greater than 10. Okay, in polypeptides the number of amino acids are greater than 10. Okay, greater than 10. Now greater than 10. Now in protein, how many number of polypeptides or how many number of amino acids are there? Now as we all know, proteins are of high molecular mass. So in proteins, okay, near about 100 to 1000, okay, or maybe greater than 1000 number of amino acids are present. Okay, so as they are of high molecular formula, but actually it is not a hard and fast rule that a species having a large number having more than 100 amino acids is termed as proteins. Okay, the well-known protein insulin consists of only 51 alpha amino acids, and we all know it is a well-known protein. Okay, so insulin consists of 51 अल्फा अमीनो एसिड्स. ओके, सो दिस इज नॉट अ हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल कि प्रोटीन जो है उसके पास अमीनो एसिड 100 से ज्यादा ही होनी चाहिए. इन इंसुलिन वी हैव 51 अल्फा अमीनो एसिड्स. ओके, एंड दिस इज वेल नोन प्रोटीन, okay, which is present in our body. Now okay, so this is all about polypeptides, oligopeptides. Now proteins are further divided into 2 parts on the basis of the nature of bonding, okay, or the arrangement of amino acids. So the first one is fibrous protein. Okay, fibrous and globular. Fibrous protein. Okay, so everything is completely theoretical. Fibrous protein. Now fibrous, as the name suggests, consists of a large number of it will leads to the formation of fiber. Okay, so in this protein, okay, in this protein a large number of threads align side by side. Okay, a large number of threads align side by side, okay, to form a complete fiber like this. This will lead to the formation of a complete fiber. Okay, okay, like this. तो एक फाइबर बन गया. this will lead to the formation of a complete fiber. Okay, so in this, write it in a notebook that in fibrous protein, a large number of threads uh, arranged side by side, which leads to the formation of a fiber. Okay, and this is known as fibrous protein. Okay, so the peptides which are present, these thread-like molecules, okay, which are peptides, okay, uh, they are in contact with each other with the help of hydrogen bonding. Okay, with the help of hydrogen bonding, strong hydrogen bonding is there in between the two threads. Okay, through thread molecules there is strong hydrogen bonding. So due to the formation of this strong bonding, they are insoluble in water. Insoluble in water. So they are insoluble in water. And one more thing, uh, and there is a very less change in their structure with change in temperature and any other value like pH. Okay, there is not so much influence of pH and temperature on fibrous protein. Okay, so write this thing also. No effect of change of pH and temperature. Okay, so there is not so much effect of change of pH and temperature on fibrous protein. Okay, and they are arranged in such a way to form a complete fiber. Now, what are its example? So the best example is myosin. Myosin in muscles. Okay, and similarly we have keratin. So keratin is present in skin. It is also present in nails, etc. Okay, so these are the most important examples. Okay, so similarly we have fibrion in hairs. Okay, in hairs we have fibron. Okay, so these are some of the example of fibrous protein. Now the next class of protein is, or the next type of protein is globular protein. Okay, so globular protein are of spheroidal shape. Okay, I am not able to form the structure because it is 3D. Okay, fibrous protein का बनाना थोड़ा easy था, but it is not easy to draw the structure of globular protein. Okay, so you can check it on Google. What is the exact structure? Okay, of globular protein. So globular protein are spheroidal in shape. Okay, they are spheroidal. Spheroidal shape. They have spheroidal shape. Now, how they will get this spheroidal shape? So when uh, they are arranged in such a way, okay, they are the peptide are arranged in such a way uh, so that the hydrophobic part, okay, the hydrophobic part move inside, okay, and the hydrophilic part move outside, okay. As we all know, in peptide there is also a hydrophobic part. Hydrophobic part is R group, and hydrophilic parts are COH and NH2 group. So they are arranged in such a way that these hydrophilic part, hydrophilic means water loving species, and hydrophobic means water repelling species. So they are arranged, okay, they arranged itself in such a way so that hydrophobic part moves outward, inward, and hydrophilic part move outward. Okay, so write this thing, and so such that they will get a spheroidal shape. Okay, and they will get a spheroidal shape, and they also have hydrogen bonding, disulfide bridging, and if we talk about their nature, they are soluble in nature. Okay, they are soluble in water. Okay, because hydrophilic part is on the outer species. Okay, the hydrophobic part is on the outer species. That is why uh, they are soluble in water, and they also they are not so strong. Okay, they are not so strong. So that is why there is an influence of pH and temperature on their structure. Okay, their its structure can be changed with the influence of pH and temperature. Now, what are its examples? So, insulin is an example. Like we have hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is also an example of this uh, globular protein. Okay, so these are some of the examples. Okay, so large number of polypeptide chain may be present. Okay, and they are maybe they actually there are a large number of forces may be present. Van der Waal भी हो सकती है, disulfide breaching भी, hydrogen bonding भी. Okay, it can be possible in globular protein. They are quite complex as compared to fibrous. Okay, so this is all about globular protein. Now proteins are also classified into three parts. Okay, that is simple protein, conjugated protein, and derived protein, on the basis of the product which it give on hydrolysis. Okay, so upon hydrolysis, proteins, if they directly give only amino acids, okay, then they are called as simple proteins. Okay, now what are simple proteins? So in simple proteins, the if protein on hydrolysis, give amino acid directly, only amino acids, okay, then they are termed as simple proteins. Okay, and the second type of protein is on the basis of products, that is conjugated protein. Now what are conjugated protein? So protein on hydrolysis, along with, if they upon hydrolysis, along with amino acids, also give a non-protein part. Okay, also give a non-protein part, that is known as prosthetic group. Amino acid plus non-protein part. Okay, and this non-protein part is known as prosthetic group. Okay, then they are known as conjugated protein. Okay, and the best example of conjugated protein is hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin give a non-protein part, that is heme, which is responsible for the red color of blood. Okay, red color. Similarly, we have lipoproteins. Lipoproteins gives non-protein part as lipids. Similarly, we have nucleoprotein. They will give non-protein part as nucleic acid. Okay, similarly, glucoprotein gives sugars as the non-protein part. Okay, so there are a large number of examples of conjugated protein. Now the third one is derived proteins. Okay, now derived proteins are what? These are the proteins in which some intermediates are also formed. Okay, it will not directly change into amino acids. Okay, so the in derived proteins, there are some intermediates formed, like protein firstly on hydrolysis give proteosis, and then it gives peptones. Okay, these are some of the intermediates, and then these peptones on hydrolysis. Okay, actually in derived protein, upon partial hydrolysis, they give some intermediates like proteosis, peptones, and then alpha amino acids. Okay, then alpha amino acids. Okay, so these are the two different classification of proteins. First is on the basis of the nature of bonding, that is fibrous and globular, and second is on the basis of the products which it give upon hydrolysis. Okay, now let us discuss about the structures of protein. So there are many different types of structure of protein, like primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, and quaternary structure. Okay, so for the CBSE point of view, we have to do the primary, secondary, and tertiary. Okay, so in most of the time, questions are coming. Questions are coming from these three types of quaternary जो है वो कम पूछा जाता है. Now actually we are going from as we move from primary to quaternary, complexity will increase. Okay, so structure of proteins, because we are moving from less complex to more complex structures. Okay, and there is a total theoretical portion is there. Now what are first is what is primary structure. Okay, this is the main basis of protein. Okay, this is the main basis of protein. There is no effect of temperature and pH on primary structure. Okay, this actually controls all the biological activities of protein. Controls all the biological activities. Biological activities of protein. Okay, so primary structure control all the biological properties. Now they are formed when we arrange all the amino acids in a sequence. Okay, when we arrange amino acids in a sequence, okay, then primary structure will be formed. Okay, for example, let us take, okay, they are in zigzag form. So as we all know, this is the structure. Okay, and then this again consists of, okay, so you have to draw the zigzag form. Okay, so this is the zigzag form of the structure. Okay, this is our okay, so this is the and then this again is attached to some other NH group. Okay, so this is the, and this is our peptide bond. Okay, similarly this is a peptide bond. Okay, so if we arrange a large number of amino acids, okay, so I have arranged 3 amino acids. Okay, so for example, the R group may be different. It may be firstly we have R, and then we have R dash, and then we have R double dash. Okay, so it may be different or maybe same. Okay, so okay, so primary structures are simple. Okay, primary structures are simple, and if we replace one of the amino acid group with some other, the whole biological activity will get changed. Okay, it means primary structures are the basis. Okay, they are the basis of proteins. The you can say the function of protein depends upon only these primary structures. For example, in hemoglobin, there are large number of amino acid present, and if we replace one of the acidic amino acid, okay, if we replace one of the acidic amino acid, for example, if we take aspartic acid, okay, if we replace aspartic acid with any basic amino acid, like we have lysine, okay, sorry, lysine, lysine is basic. So if I replace this with lysine, then the whole biological activity will get changed. Okay, thus it will lead to a disease known as sickle cell anemia. Okay, sickle cell anemia, and in this disease, the cells become so thin so that they can also even burst. Okay, and which leads to the sudden death. Okay, so that is why these primary structures are very, very important. Okay, and all the biological functions depend upon these primary uh, structures. Okay, now this is all about the primary structure, and you have to note everything. Okay, so note each and everything, the definition, how they will form when a large number of amino acids are arranged in sequence, formation of primary structure takes place. Okay, now what are secondary proteins? Now secondary proteins secondary proteins are further of two types. First one is alpha helix structure, and the second one is beta pleated. Okay, beta pleated structure. Now what is this alpha helix structure? The main difference is that in alpha helix structure, intramolecular hydrogen bonding is there. Okay, intramolecular hydrogen bonding is present, alpha helix structure. Okay, so in actually a short question is always asked in the exam. Okay, and you have to write I think near about 40 to 50 words. Okay, So it is very easy to write if a question come on this structure. Okay, we can easily write some main points of difference also, like in alpha helix there is intramolecular hydrogen bonding. तो क्वेश्चन बहुत इजीली अटेम्प्ट हो जाता है, ठीक है. So you have to keep in your mind such small things, okay, like the points of difference is beta pleated structure. Now how they will form? Okay, now in alpha helix structure intramolecular hydrogen bonding is there. Okay, hydrogen intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, so firstly I am discussing about this alpha alpha helix structure, and in beta intermol you have to write this thing, intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, intermolecular hydrogen bonding is present. Now, what is the main difference? How we can arrange amino acid groups in alpha helix? Okay, so as the name suggests, there are some helices will be formed. Okay, now in alpha helix structure, the amino acids, or sorry, the peptides, okay, the polypeptides are arranged in such a way that the amino group of the first one, okay, amino group of the first peptide chain का जो amino group है, it is bonded to COOH group of the fourth one, okay. So for example, if we have a complete chain, okay, then the amino group of the first one gets bonded to the fourth COH group of the amino acid. Okay, then they if they are bonded, then it leads to the formation of a helix. Okay, there is a formation of helix takes place. Okay, for example, if we have this whole, दिस इज अ स्ट्रेट लाइन, ठीक है, मुझे इसको इसके साथ ज्वाइन करना है, ठीक है. नाउ व्हाट इज द हाउ कैन आई अरेंज? ओके, आई कैन इजीली अरेंज देम इन हेलिक्स फॉर्म, ठीक है. मैं इसको क्या करूं, इसको ना रोटेट करके हेलिक्स में चेंज कर देता हूं, सच दैट दिस एटम कम्स ऑन दिस साइड, ओके, ताकि इनमें बॉन्डिंग इजीली हो सके. Similarly in helix structure also, okay, there is a formation of helix takes place like this. Okay, formation of helix takes place. Okay, and it is also known as 3.6 13 helix. Okay, 3.6 alpha 13 helix. Okay, so there are for example, here we have the NH2 group, and here we have that COH group. This is the fourth one. Okay, so they are bonding with each other. Okay, there is a intramolecular hydrogen bonding takes place. Okay, and due to the formation of this helices, okay, they can be easily movable. Okay, they can be easily movable. So these alpha helices are present in our hairs, in fibron. Okay, so that is why if we apply some force, okay, these intramolecular hydrogen bond can be easily broken. Okay, and if I again remove the force, then they can easily arrange into the same position. Okay, so that is why our hairs are stretchable. Okay, due to the presence of this alpha helix proteins. Okay, due to this alpha helix secondary structure. Okay, now why they are termed as 3.6 alpha 13 helix? So 3.6 is because in each helix there are 3.6 alpha amino acid group are present, and there are 13 members. Okay, which will completely make the ring. Okay, is it clear? There are 3.6 amino acids. That is why in each helix there are 3.6 amino acid present, and 13 members are there. 13 members in the chain. Members in the ring. Okay, 13 members in the ring. Okay, so this is all about the alpha helix structure. I think this much is enough for this alpha helix structure. So next we have beta pleated structure. Okay, so beta pleated structure is like pages in a notebook. Okay, so in this a large number of beta pleated structure. Okay, so in this a large number of simple proteins are arranged in simple polypeptides are arranged in such a way, ठीक है, as in case of primary we have the state chain. Okay, we have simple amino acid. तो इसमें क्या होता है beta pleated में a large number of primary structures are there. Okay, so क्या होता है, जैसे हमारे पास हमने अभी बनाया था ना, like this we have arranged all the atoms. Okay, R and then we have H. Similarly, this is again bonded with the other group R dash H. Okay, and then we again have C double bond O. Okay, NH, and it is again attached with some other group C R double dash H. Okay, so if we have a large number of such type of rings, okay, such type of arrangement, okay, like again we have this arrangement. Okay, so they are arranged in such a way that there is a hydrogen bonding takes place. Okay, so again write the complete structure. Okay, and there is also a COH group like here, तो यहाँ पे भी hydrogen bonding होगी. Okay, in the second layer. Okay, so there are a large number of layers in beta plated structure, ताकि वो एक जैसे बुक के अंदर पेजेस होते हैं ना. Okay, they are arranged like this. That is why it is known as beta pleated. Okay, beta pleated structure. Now they are of two types. If same structures are there, okay, if this CO group is for example, if this is the first layer and the second layer is also the same, then they are known as, this is known as parallel arrangement. Okay, and if different groups are arranged parallelly, okay, then it is known as anti-parallel. Okay, if different groups are head on head, okay, they are on same side, then that is known as anti-parallel. Okay, so this is all about the beta plated structure. Now next is tertiary one. So tertiary में क्या है, अब as we all know we are moving towards more complexity. So in tertiary structures, okay, if we talk about the tertiary structure, okay, if we talk about tertiary structure, so in tertiary structure there is more complexation takes place. Okay, some more complexity takes place. So for example, if we have in case of fibrous protein, okay, both fibrous and globule protein consist of primary, secondary and tertiary, but in case of fibrous protein, we all know that there are a large number of threads. Okay, this will give us a single fiber. Okay, now in tertiary there are a large number of fibers like this. Okay, तो यहाँ से एक और फाइबर बन गया. Okay, similarly we have another fiber like this. Okay, so this will give us a complete rope. Okay, rope बन जाएगा, कुछ rope like structure बन जाता है. Okay, like for example if we have this arrangement, ठीक है, एक और ऐसा ही हमारे पास अरेंजमेंट आ गया, मान लो कुछ इस तरह से. ओके, सो एक्चुअली माय ड्राइंग इज नॉट सो गुड. ओके, सो कुछ इस तरह से. ओके, तो एक और रोप इसी के ऊपर आ गई. तो काफी सारी जब हम थ्रेड्स को, ओके, नाउ एक्चुअली इन टर्शियरी स्ट्रक्चर फाइबर जो है, एक फाइबर जो है, इट इज how can I explain? In case of fibrous protein, a thread will form a large number of fibers. Okay, and in this structure, a fiber is treated as a thread. Okay, like here. So this complete fiber is acting as a thread, and it will leads to the formation of a rope-like structure. Okay, नाउ आई थिंक एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर कि जैसे हमारे पास फाइब्रस प्रोटीन में क्या होता है, लार्ज नंबर ऑफ थ्रेड्स अरेंज्ड साइड बाय साइड टू फॉर्म अ फाइबर। इन दिस a large number of fibers arranged side by side. Okay. Um, okay. Now they are folded in such a way to form a rope. Okay, they are completely fold with each other to form a rope. Okay, so this is all about the tertiary structure in case of fibrous protein. But in case of globular protein, okay, more complexity is there, as we all know in globular protein. So in some portion there is van der Waals forces are present. In some places there are what can I say? There are some disulfide bridging are there. Uh, in some portion there is hydrogen bonding. Now one more term is there, random coil. Okay. Now what is this random coil? Random coil is that structure in which no secondary structure is present. Okay. It is such an arrangement in which no secondary structure is present. Okay, no alpha helix, no beta pleated, no secondary structure is there. Okay, no secondary structure is there, that is known as random coil. So in tertiary structure of globular protein, random coil may be also there. Okay, so कई जगह secondary structure होगा भी नहीं. Okay, so that this is all about the tertiary structure. Okay, now what is quaternary structure? Quaternary structure is even more complex. Okay, if we talk about tertiary structure, it is like this. ठीक है, काफी सारे हमने अरेंज कर दिए. क्वार्टरनरी स्ट्रक्चर में ऐसे ऐसे काफी सारे हैं. ठीक है, लाइक दिस एक और आ गया ऐसे. ओके, इट इज इवन मोर कॉम्प्लेक्स देन दैट ऑफ टर्शरी एंड इट कंसिस्ट ऑफ अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पॉलीपेप्टाइड्स. ओके, and the best example is again hemoglobin. Hemoglobin consists of 4 heme groups. Okay, and in heme group there is a group known as porphyrin ring. Okay, porphyrin ring जो है it consists of nitrogen and nitrogen के जो lone pairs हैं वो सेंट्रल में जो एटम है हमारे पास आयरन उसको कोऑर्डिनेट बॉन्डेड करते हैं. Okay, there are 4 heme groups are present in hemoglobin. Okay, so that is a good example of quaternary structure. Okay, keep in your mind this example, heme group. So in hemoglobin there are 4 heme group are present. Okay, and they are known as subunits. Okay, there are and in I think each heme group consists of alpha and beta amino acids. Okay, there are a large number of alpha and amino. I think 141 alpha and 146 are beta. Okay, amino acids in each heme group. Okay, so that is why it is quite complex, and this is the best example of quaternary structure. Okay, because there are 4 heme groups are present. Okay, so this is all about the structure of proteins. Okay, and you have to keep in your mind some points of differences, some main points. Okay, so that you can easily attempt the question in 40 to 50 words. Okay, so I hope you found this lecture helpful, and in the next class we will discuss about the denaturation of proteins and what are the biological functions of protein. Okay, and then we are left with only nucleic acid. Okay, so thank you so much for watching the lecture.